Welcome to Jam on All Saints Sunday. We know that we have kids and families, but we also have adults who join us. So we welcome all of you who want to worship God in this way. I'm going to begin by describing the curriculum and how it works. If you already know, you're welcome to skip ahead in the video where we start our worship experience. Children in Worship is a form of worship that hopes that we will engage with our spiritual formation by inviting us to experience the wonder and mystery of God through a unique storytelling format with multisensory materials. One of the goals of the curriculum is to create a space that will mirror worship that we have as adults in the upstairs, but in an age-appropriate way for kids. In this way, they will begin sensing as children that pattern of worship that they will experience for a lifetime. Following that fourfold pattern, we first begin with a time of preparing ourselves for worship. We begin by greeting one another. The Lord be with you and also with you. And then, in order to prepare our bodies to hear the sacred stories of God, we take deep breaths and we sing songs that are familiar. Then, we engage in sacred storytelling. Afterwards, there is a response time followed by prayer and thanksgiving. So we invite you to turn down your devices, slow your being, and enter into the worship space with us today. Welcome to the Worship Center. In this place, we have all the time that we need, so we don't need to hurry. We can walk more slowly, and we can talk softly, because someone might be talking to God. Now, in this place, we begin by greeting one another. I will say, "The Lord be with you," and you will say, "And also with you." Let's try it. The Lord be with you, and also with you. Let's try it one more time, and this time I won't help you on your part. The Lord be with you. Good. Now that we have greeted one another, we now prepare our bodies for worship. So let's take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Now that we've quieted our being, we sing songs to prepare ourselves to hear the sacred stories. The first song we sing is "Oh God, I Adore You." Can you sing it with me? Oh God, I adore you. Lay my life before you. How I love you. Jesus, I adore you. Lay my life before you. How I love you. Spirit, I adore you. Lay my life before you. How I love you. Good. Now we sing, "Be still and know." Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am job. Now it's time to hear this sacred story. So you can take your hands, put them in your lap, or you can hug yourself to calm and quiet your being as we listen to the story of God. This is the desert box. Inside is a small piece of the desert. So many important things happen in the desert that we just have to have a small piece of it in our classroom. The desert is a strange and wild place. At night, it's very cold. But in the day, it's burning hot. There is almost no water at all. The desert is always changing. The wind is blowing, and as it blows, it shapes and molds the sand. The desert is never the same. This is the city of Jerusalem. This is the holy city of God. In fact, it had a wall around it. The people of God lived in this holy city for hundreds of years. Here are the people of God living in Jerusalem, that holy city. One day, a king from a faraway land across the desert, he came to Jerusalem and he wanted the city for himself. So he took his army and he took it from the people of God. They burned down the temple where God lived and destroyed the wall around the city. The people of God, they were taken to that strange land with that king who came to capture Jerusalem. And they were made to live in that new place called Babylon. They were taken to live in exile, away from the city of Jerusalem, the land that they knew so well. And so the people of God came to Babylon. The people of God were not allowed to go home. They were in exile. Then a new king came to Babylon, and he let some of the people go home. These people of God were allowed to go back with the prophet Ezra. They left Babylon and they were allowed to go home. Once in Jerusalem with Ezra, they were allowed to rebuild the temple of God. Then the king let a few more people go home with the prophet Nehemiah, and they rebuilt Jerusalem. They remade its walls and built the city again. And so even more people of Israel went home to Jerusalem and away from Babylon. Some of the people decided to stay in Babylon because it was no longer strange to them, because they had lived there so long. Most of the people came home. It was good to be home, so they sang and they danced and they rejoiced and they had a party. They were so happy to be home and no longer living in Babylon, that strange place that was so far away. I wonder what it was like when the first group saw the temple and the walls around Jerusalem burning. I wonder what it felt like when they were forced to go to a strange land far, far away to Babylon. I wonder what it was like to live in Babylon. I wonder if God was with them in Babylon. Now that their old life is gone, I wonder what these people of God will do. I wonder if God will show them a new way to live. I wonder what that new way will be like. I wonder if the people of God lived the new way when they returned to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple and the wall around Jerusalem. Now, we light the Christ candle to remind us that Jesus is with us as we hear the stories of God. The story is found in the Bible. The story that we're reading today is from Ezra, chapter 1, verses 2 to 4. Thus says King Cyrus of Persia, "The Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem in Judah. Any of those among you who are of his people, may their God be with them, are now permitted to go up to Jerusalem in Judah and rebuild the house of the Lord, the God of Israel. He is the God who is in Jerusalem. And let all survivors, in whatever place they reside, be assisted by the people of their place with silver and gold, with goods and with animals, besides freewill offerings for the house of God in Jerusalem." Now that we have heard the story and we have heard it read from the Bible, it's a time to say thank you. You can turn to someone next to you and pause this video and tell them something you're thankful for. Something in the video or in the story or in life. You can also say thank you to God in prayer. You can do that out loud or in your heart, and God hears you. So I'm going to say a prayer of thanksgiving to say thank you to God. Dear God, thank you that even when you lost your home, your temple, you then took up a new home in our hearts and you remain with us. Thank you for being with us. Amen. I'm going to change the light now. The light is in one place at one time. Watch. I will move the light. The light is now in all places and all times. God is with you in your home even now. So, Now that our worship time is done, I invite you to warm up your benediction hands. Raise them to me. May the love of God go with you. Go in peace. Amen.